Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Wednesday morning trading room. Hang on here a second. We'll get the screen share going on. Just a little reminder here. Trading is risky. You should only trade with money that you can afford to lose. Always good advice. Does take a lot of pressure off of your trading if you trade that way. All right. Yesterday, what a day. Huge rally out of the open. The market settling down during the afternoon session as anticipated. Really didn't go too much further, but you can see first time in a long time that we actually had a relatively large bar. And all that came, like I said, very early. We did get a little bit of that, but definitely the last few days have been a day where, man, you should just try to hold on, or so it seems. Here on the overnight, you can see that relatively quiet, the market leaving off around the 78, 34, 35 area. Overnight, very, very quiet. And we are beginning the day without a gap, which is a little unusual. Trade forecaster saying we are in swing mode, or pardon me, yes, swing mode, moving into scalp mode. So that would suggest that maybe things are going to get a little bit choppier. More frequent pullbacks, maybe larger pullbacks. You can see we had a little bit of a move here right now, actually, to start the day, a little bit of a rally up. Now we're reversing on ourselves. Do I want to try a counter trend trade already? We do have a rule of 3 signal here on the Eagle. 1, 2, 3 signals. All right, well, I'll point it out to you. Here it is. Let me put the order on and then I'll explain what's going on. The rule of 3 signal here in the Eagle is actually a counter trend trade. What you are looking at is you're trying to assess a trend. So I'm going to call this little uptick here an uptrend. In an uptrend, we should obviously be producing buy signals. And yet, with the rule of 3, we start to produce counter trend signals on the other side of the trading band. The rule of 3 must always be preceded by a test of the extreme. In this case, the extreme being the high. This is the retest. Okay, this is the evidence that maybe the market is not going to continue higher. And that is why we are considering shorting the market. You can also use a rule of 3 signal because it is a counter trend signal. You can simply use it as an early warning signal that maybe the market is unwinding, and you can look for the first in sync signal. It is counter trend. It is early. We're only 5 minutes here into the day, but we have comparable signals here. We have a trend change signal on the Falcon. We have an early number 1 signal here on the Raptor, and we have our first micro macro cross here in the Hawk. So the tools more or less in sync with possible move lower. Ooh. Well, let's see. Let's see if they got anything here. this now a reaction to the breakout. You should anticipate reactions to swing breakouts, to trend line breakouts, any breakout really. A little bit of a recovery here, not what I'm wanting to see. I'm wanting to see a little bit more bearish follow through. So hopefully we'll get a couple of bear bars now in our favor. That will give me a good reason to roll my stops up. I'm using the trade calculator here to limit my risk exposure. Come on, you guys and girls. Get down there a little bit. There's one bear bar. Come on, give me the other one. All right. So at this point, I'm going to be a little bit more aggressive with my stops, bring them in. If the market turns once more, there is a pretty good chance that it will try to rally, in which case it's probably advisable to take your lumps early. It's always a juggling act, you know, it's a fine line between strangling your trade and giving it enough room without leaving too much extra on the table. Well, come on, sellers, you got to step up. No. Oh well. It was a low probability proposition, but worth a try. See now if we get a with trend signal. You can see here now the proper number one signal developing on the Raptor. And here come the buyers pushing back. Well, definitely, I can see moving into scalp mode already. Maybe the market's a little bit even ahead of the trade forecaster. Well, here on the Hawk, we have our first micro macro cross to buy. It didn't want to go lower, so I am open to a move higher. And I would consider it taking it above. Here's the first micro macro cross signal, but I would offer up the couple extra ticks and take it above this high right here. I'm pulling my exit order out of the way. Actually, if we're looking for early momentum, where's our next support and resistance line? Oh, way up here. All right, let's swing for the fences. Actually, I'm going to cancel that for now. I'll put it back in if we get filled here. We're now down to a macro pullback signal. Not liking this back and forth stuff. I think I'm going to cancel this order. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. Okay. We've drifted now into yellow bars. That certainly spoiled the signal. I guess I'm a little anxious because, well, we've had such great follow through the last couple of mornings. I'm hoping maybe today will be another one of those kinds of days. See, here we are with the eagle again, looking to short. This now the trend change signal. And what I'll do is I'll look to take it below these lows right here. All right, there it is. There's the order. We'll see whether we get any bearish follow through now after a little bit of a flip flop. Okay, well, we're short again. Maybe I was too tight with my original stop. Maybe not. Here we go, bouncing back and forth again. All right, that's a little better. Darn it, spoke too soon. Actually, I'm thinking maybe we're going to run. Oh, it is running to the median line. If you wanted to swing for the fences, well, we got the median line. We also have the next support zone. That actually is going to bring us back here somewhere around 7,800. That's a big target. Okay, probably time to start rolling stops in a little bit. We've definitely hit our swing target. And we have hit our high probability trend target now. So we're trading back to the median line. We're getting a little bit of a pushback now off of the median line. Oh, not quite enough momentum to get down to the bigger profit target, but a good little move all the same. Now, it's worth noting, I know I mention this to you guys all the time, but it's so important when you are trading to have a trade quota, right? So the first trade, we lost $100. The second trade, had I taken profit on target, would have been good for $200. As it was, we picked up $150. But I've made my 2 trade quota. I have finished in the black. So my trading day is essentially done, even though it's only like a $50, $55 profit on the day. Remember, the money is made in the multiples. Now, you may choose to add a third trade so that maybe you could get to that $100 profit objective. But there's nothing wrong with even a $50 profit. A profit is a profit. The true power of trading comes from adding multiples. All right, a little bit of a pushback, almost looking like it's going to try to recover and head lower. We'll see if we get a little bit more of a pullback here, maybe something back to the hard edge. Okay, actually getting a little bit of a number 2 signal. So now the big question is that number 2 signal with trend or counter trend? Okay, well, we're hesitating here a little. Oh, a nice little number 2 signal pushing back. So here we are back to the hard edge. I'm almost thinking that this is more of a downtrend at this point. The Falcon here already with the trend change signal. That was actually a nice little number 2 move to the hard edge. The band was getting a little bit broader. How wide were we here? Well, not quite over 50 ticks. Usually when it starts to get over 50, 60 ticks, it's a little bit more open to a reverse. Okay, here now our little bit of a pushback. So we'll see whether we come back with a hard edge bounce now. Well, we've got the hard edge bounce here on the eagle. All right. Well, here we go. All right, so I'm going to work off of this hard edge bounce signal. Okay, here we go. Let's see whether the sellers have anything here. All right, let's see. Come on. Not quite as much momentum as what we had yesterday. Yesterday, all the momentum came early. No, not much in the follow-through department. We are in scalp mode, maybe moving into trend mode. We'll have to see how long trend mode is supposed to last. Okay, here we go. Let's see if we can get any kind of now, here we got a little bit of a trend line break. No, they're not going to give it to me. So it's starting to look like either we're going to keep going back and forth, or the market is in fact maybe transitioning to an uptrend again. It's hard to tell at this point because as you scroll back through your chart, look at this. See how we've got all this sideways trading going on? It's always tough when you're trading sideways like this. All right, let's put that away for now. Yeah, Frank, you could be right. Frank says looks like a double bottom on the eagle. That's entirely possible. We've definitely got a really large trading range going on here, right? And so we've got all this buying down here, kind of in the bottom quarter, bottom third. We've got all this selling up here. Everything in the middle is really a crapshoot. I'm starting to wonder whether this could be a little bit of a bear flag, maybe. Well, we've got ourselves a late filter entry signal here. I'm looking for a second push opportunity off this signal. Oh, shoot, they're not going to give me that second push opportunity. So the late filter entry signal actually developed back here. That's the signal right there. So there's the signal right there. Here's the late filter entry. So the late filter occurs when the um, filter goes out of sync, comes back into sync. The trend line itself never changes color, though. The trend line itself stays green. The filter comes back into sync. This is a very high probability signal here on the Falcon. Unfortunately for me, I did not get a second chance to get in on that trade. What is my spacing here on my trade calculator? Oh yes, that's might be 10 ticks might be a little bit much. I'm going to dial that back. So all I did there was adjust the stop, how far I want my stop order from the current price. And remember, when you make changes like that, it's a good idea to save them. Well, we're kind of retracing the same numbers here as we were the latter part of yesterday. All right, well, we're kind of just waiting on the next signal to develop here, and you can see why it's to your advantage to trade less, not more. Trading less and, well, picking your moments is a big deal in trading. What I would like to see at this point, now that the clouds here on the Raptor have crossed again, I would like to see a little bit of a pullback. The Raptor would give me a good opportunity to get long again. Oh, there's the crossover buy. See if I get that second push opportunity. Let's see if I get a second push on that number one. See, here's part of the issue as well. If I draw this trend line correctly, kind of challenging the top end of this trend line. And that may, in fact, spark a little bit of selling. So again, you look at the context of what's going on here, a very sideways style market, non-committal at the moment. All right, one bar. I'm looking for a little bit more of a pushback. Ideally, if this is a new trend that is developing, what we're going to see is we're going to see this kind of thing. We're going to see a little bit of a move back somewhere near the hard edge, and then we will see the market try to recover the trend. The way it is right now, because we are within this broader sideways trading range, it's a little bit too indecisive. It's probably a good time to go get a coffee. I'll be right back. Okay, what did I miss? Not a whole lot. Wow, the market's still really, really slow here. I wonder if we're going to get a little bit of a push off of this top end of the trend line. We are producing a warning dot. Not that we're going to have a tradable signal, but it's just curious. Now we have a warning dot kind of coming off of that trend line. All right, let's see if we can't find one more decent trade here this morning. All right, this number one signal, definitely a viable trade. What I would look to do is I would treat this as a second push opportunity. This little pullback, I would look to re-enter, but not unless the market can get above those highs. Stops, unfortunately, need to be fairly far back. All right, so I'll throw my order in there just above the high. I'll get my exit order out of the way for now. And so this is what the trade looks like. Wow, the lack of momentum here this morning is impressive. Not anything like it was just the other day. Nope, not yet. Actually coming back now with a number 2 signal. We'll see if we get a second push on this. That would allow us to actually frame the market, kind of get it in a little bit of a bind. And here's the red bar buy signal, which tends to develop near the end of a trend. All right, I'm going to take a chance, and I'm going to use this hesitation right here as my second push opportunity on this number 2 signal. I'll throw my profit order down here, somewhere near the lows of the morning, and back to the median line. And like I said, now we have the market in a little bit of a bind. Okay, I like the 2-bar pushback. That adds a little bit of strength here to this low. Ron's asking, how do I set my margin? I think what you're referring to is the margin here on the right side. This goes back to long ago when we used to get our paper charts in the mail. They would always have a space to the right where you could manually fill in the day-to-day activity of the markets you're following. And they would give you 2 weeks because that's how long it would take for your next charts to show up. To do that, no, it's not that window, or is it this window? Yes, it is. So right click on your chart and go down to your properties window, and your right side margin, I have mine set at 100 ticks or pixels or whatever it uses. Okay, well, we're getting to the point where we're either going to see a breakout higher or a breakout lower. In fact, I may stretch my profit target here somewhat. I don't know if we're waiting on a report here this morning. No, we're past reports. All right, so they filled us on the long side. First real obstacle here is going to be the primary resistance zone. And then I believe we have the highs of the morning just a little bit past that. Yeah, and then the highs of the morning at, come on, work with me. No, it's not going to give it to me. Highs of the morning at 78.47. Yeah, there's the first little pushback. We certainly have enough in here for a scalp target. You know how I mentioned earlier that if we were just looking to pick up another $50, $60 to make our $100 objective, seeing how we were profitable, we had $50 profit already. Well, here is your extra $50. So you can still have your $100 day. But there's not too much else going on, and it is a demo room, so I may as well demonstrate. Come on. Little itty bitty swing here. I'm trying to be a little bit more patient with the trade, but wow, we're getting that pushback. Look at that, right off of that primary resistance line. So you can see we've got the trend line aligning with the hard edge. I would really like to see this swing continue higher for obvious reasons. Well, we've intersected the hard edge. This is usually when we anticipate a reaction. My stops, admittedly, are a little bit tight here. I would much rather have my stops way back here. This would be the proper stop. 2 swings back. So this is swing 1. And this is swing 2. The reason being is it's not unusual to see the market violate the latest swing point only to recover and head higher. So I'm going to pull my stops back. Don't do this at home, but just for demonstration purposes, we'll see what happens if we violate the lows here. There's a better than 50-50 chance that the market will try to react a little bit more bullishly. All right, well, there's the break. And there now is the little bit of a reaction. So you see, if our stops were right here, we would have been tagged out. Now that this zone has a little bit more reinforcement, you could use this as your second swing point. So you could say, okay, there's swing 1, there's swing 2, or there's swing 1, there's swing 2. This zone now has a little bit more support to it. If the market fails and goes below here, well, then it's probably time to leave. But at least we're giving the trade a chance. Well, back to the hard edge. We'll see whether we get any follow through on this push up, but it seems as though, for the most part, the market very, very quiet today, very sideways. You can see here on our daily chart. Look at that. This is all we've done today. So we're right back to where we started, really. All right, a little bit of a pushback. So this now is the The tricky part, will these lows hold? Will the buyers rally the market up, or are the sellers going to knock it back down? Again, it's really, really tough trading because, hey, we're in a very tight sideways trading range. Come on, let's go. Look at your cloud as well, though, how neutral the cloud is. It's just so flat. Oop. Okay, here we go. We might actually see some momentum, maybe. I'm hesitant to say anything. All right, well, here we go with our new number one signal. Okay, a little bit of follow through. I'm trying to be patient with this trade and not get myself stopped out after waiting out the last swing. Again, you can see how it's to your benefit to leave your stops ideally 2 swings back. And once again, we have a chance at our scalp profit target. Here we go. Is there a chance we're going to break the high? Come on. This is the last swing high, of course. All right. Well, at this point, if you're not going to take your swing profit, which is just above us here, you should probably bring your stops up at least to break even at this point. So let's see, I'm in at 37. My swing target would be 42. Come on. All right. I'm going to squeeze the trade pretty hard now. Yay! Well, after sweating that trade for quite a while, it actually turned out to be a pretty decent trade. And next stop is we're actually going to challenge the highs of the morning, which were at 78.47. Once we get through those, there is a reasonably good chance the market will try to push on through to the secondary resistance zone. I don't know if it's going to get up that high, but that's where it would be heading. All right, gang. I'm going to close up the room here for the morning, and we'll do it all over again tomorrow. Have yourselves a great day. Talk to you then. Bye for now.